Welcome back to another episode of French Ear Trumpets. I'm Andy from AJ in France, and today I'm joined by Colin from French Countryside Life, as usual. But again, back by popular demand is Robbie from Escape to France, Charente. And we're going to
That was his mum asking to see him again. That's what it was.
That's it, yeah. No, we got a lot of good feedback when you were on the last time on the
Thank you.
last episode. So it'd be great to have you back. So we're just going to have a little chat about, well, I guess mainly most of it will be what you found out, Robbie, since you've moved here, and how easy or difficult it is to integrate with visas, schools, and the health system, all that kind of stuff, because all three of us have different aspects on this, and we all arrived here at different times. But anybody trying to come over now is going to have to jump through the hoops that you've jumped through, Robbie, which anyone who hasn't looked at Robbie's channel really should do, because right from the beginning, in fact, one of your first episodes, if not the first, was about starting to come over here in the process of doing so. And you had the help of a TV show as well, didn't you?
Pardon me. I played my son. So we filmed with them last July. They found us our house, and we think that may be aired in September, because Channel 4 own the episodes now. So they Channel 4 release new episodes in the May and September. We think it might be the September, because weirdly enough, they've recorded A Place in the Sun, What Happened Next, and we've only been here 10 months, and the episode hasn't been aired yet. So normally people have been sat in a country for 2, 3, 4 years before they go and even show What Happened Next. But yeah, they've decided to do that, which they're hoping to release in the January maybe next year. So which is probably going to fast track. Hello.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
which is probably going to force them to fast track our one for September. So we have seen it, and it's a bit cringe, I've got to be honest with you. But yes,
like that, does he? Did you see that? The little thumbs down. Look, hold on. If you do that, there you go. You've got that from the dog as well.
I don't think Jean-Luc likes it either, and he's next to us.
So you're here because your other half is away. Is that right?
Yeah, Lisa is in the UK with the kids. So they're off. They're staying at grandma and granddad's. So they're away for a week, and I've quickly realised how much Lisa actually does.
Yeah,
that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, hold on. It's quite obvious when anyone watches your videos how much she does, to be honest. Anyway,
she's also just tiling one.
Yeah, I'll do that, doesn't
I'm in the proper tiling one.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Not the week.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, apart from that,
the airing cupboard.
Yeah. Right. Okay. No, you're not. You haven't sold it to me. Anyway, because well, let's just say the dog in the room. Do you want to introduce?
Yeah. So this is Charlie.
Wow.
We lost Bella a few weeks ago, and despite at the time saying we'll never have another dog, Charlie arrived. Charlie's a golden Labrador. He's 10 weeks old, and Robbie brought around Jean-Luc, who's the best big dog.
He's fabulous. Yeah,
he's the best big dog, and he's been like a big brother. And he's really good. And Charlie's been really good with his first experience of another dog outside his own litter.
Yeah.
And I think it's a learning experience for Charlie as well. So brilliant. So I just wanted to show him, because he's a puppy, and he doesn't like a puppy. Problem is Charlie's a bit soggy at the moment, because Jean-Luc's been drooling all over him.
He's sucking him.
He's been sucking. Stop sucking a puppy.
That's brilliant on your channel, Robbie, when you say, Jean-Luc's been sucking a chicken. It just cracks me up every time.
Comedy gold, isn't it?
He does, though. He's
He does, yeah.
just, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's got a bad bone in his body.
He's a lovely boy.
I think he wants the sensation of having something in his mouth.
Yeah.
It doesn't realise it's a chicken.
And we'll put a pin in that.
Or he doesn't want to bite it.
Yeah.
This is one thing we've all got in common. All of us have bought a dog in France.
Yeah, that's true. That's you know what? I hadn't thought of that. It's a really good point.
Yeah. So that's quite interesting. And I find it different because I've bought dogs in. Oh dear.
That's me. Sorry. Let me just put Charlie down. Don't play with.
One thing I found about buying a dog in France, it's actually a bit different, somewhat more. I don't want to say the term professional, but regulated is probably the term.
Yeah. So we first thought about rescuing a dog, but the rescue centres that we'd seen, sadly, not up to the standard that you would expect in the UK. Yeah, sadly. And so we decided to go down the road of finding a breeder. Jane had always wanted either a golden retriever or a Labrador or a Labradoodle. And the breeder is actually just like 15 minutes up the road from us. And we found his advert on a website called Le Bon Coin, which is like a classified ads. Would you call it that? Sort of classified ads website. It's not like eBay where you bid on things. It's things for sale.
Yeah, we have a Friday ad down.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So we found the breeder, went up there, and it's a real slick operation. Everything's really regulated, tightly controlled, with contracts. And the place is really clean. You know, you get to see the range of puppies that they got. I think they had like about five or six different breeds. But yeah, I was really impressed, and the customer service is fantastic. Can't fault one.
Is that speak English?
A little bit. I did it mostly in French.
Similar with you, Robbie. Is that how, when you got Jean-Luc, is that how you got him or not?
At least yeah. Was it through Le Bon Coin? I don't know. You'd have to speak to Lisa about it. I just pay for the dog. But yeah, we did have to. I think we had to fill in a questionnaire actually online, where it was a questionnaire where it was points scored. How much do you think a dog costs to feed a month? Is it between 30 and 50 euros a month? Is it between 50 and 80, or is it blah blah blah? How much do you reckon vet's fees are? What would you do in this your set of circumstances? And you had to get the right amount of points before they would even invite you to come and look at the puppy.
That's the weed out of the wheat from the chaff, isn't it?
Yeah.
That sounds like a really good idea.
Definitely.
There's lots of people, especially in the UK, you can go to. I have a really bad story. Like, we used to have a Pekingese, and it was lovely, such a nice dog, but it was so inbred.
Really?
Because it wasn't regulated enough, and we actually bought his brother later on because we knew they had health conditions. So we bought his brother so they could both have a nice, but albeit short life, and we look after them the best we could. But because of the defects they had in the breeding, they died really, really young, and it was just terrible. But it's nice to see here that everything is regulated and it's all written down. Like when we got Rosie, you had all the history, you had everything there. You know, you could really search everything back. All the qualifications of the breeder was there. Everything was pretty well done. Yeah, like you were saying. And they all have pet passports, of course.
Which... Yeah, I mean, we had a bit of a not a drama, but we had a bit of a scenario that I'll explain when you watch the next French Countryside Life.
Oh, there's a plug for
Link
you.
in the description. Thank you very much.
So it's top secret until then.
Yes, indeed.
When is the next video?
It's on Sunday.
Nice. So apart from dogs, you've both got chickens.
We've both got chickens.
Yeah.
From different routes, actually. So
you've got expatriate, haven't you?
Yeah. So we brought chickens down from down from Normandy. People thought it was mad, but we brought 6 chickens with us down from Normandy, and a bantam cockerel, and they've all since faded away and gone. But we replaced those over time with more ex-battery hens that tend not to last that long, but
you give them a nice bit of life, don't you?
It's
really
nice just to see that they flourish in the last bit of their lives, because when I picked up the last set that we got now, some of them look like rubber chickens. They really did look like rubber chickens. They just they had no feathers.
Yep.
And chickens look funny without feathers.
Yeah, they pick on them, don't they?
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. And then we got a massive great cockerel. Stop messing about.
I didn't say nothing.
Called Errol.
Why is it called Errol?
After Errol Flynn.
And?
Because he was a good film star.
Yeah.
What? Work that one out yourself. But for you, it was completely different, wasn't it? You went to the shop basically.
Yeah. So it's a funny story. Was so we went to the local Ganver, which is about like a farm shop if you was to try and have an equivalent in the UK. And so we'd not been here that long. So talk about like a cultural faux pas and get a mixture between GCSE French and real life French. So I'm trying to pluck up the courage, thinking, right, okay.
Pluck up the courage. I see what we did there.
I didn't even mean to do that. I'm here all week. So I'm in the car thinking, right, I'm going to need to speak to the girl and want to say, je voudrais quatre, so not even trying to pronounce it, probably quatre. Je voudrais quatre poulet, s'il vous plaît.
All right. So that went down well.
So I walked on, went,
do you want it with veg?
Excusez-moi. She went, je voudrais quatre poulets, s'il vous plaît. She went, no. And that was it. I'd run out of French.
That is pretty much a standard response, isn't it, when they don't understand?
Yeah.
No.
And then she said to me in English, she went, pas poulet. Well, no, she said to me in French, didn't she? She went, pas poulet, poule. I went, je ne sais pas. And it's what she was basically saying is, and she later told me in English, is that I was basically ordering a KFC. Yeah. Because poulet is chicken that you eat, and poule is the chicken that you buy. And
still alive.
And funnily enough, I was telling this story to friends of ours, and their daughter, who's 12, who's been here since the age of 7. So she is fluent in French and absolutely flying through the educational system, and is actually getting better average grades than the French in French. But when she has English lessons, one of her English lessons was they were taught that chickens that are dead are chickens. No, chickens that you eat is chicken. So poulet that you eat is chicken. Making sense. And the ones that run around are hens. So the French make a distinction between chicken and hen, whereas we don't make that distinction in England. No. We either say chicken or hen, and it all depends on there's no distinguish between your life and death or poultry and stuff like that.
You just look at the circumstances or the context in which the conversation is, and then you just think, so what about the language then? How's everyone finding that?
I think it's really interesting what you said, and it keeps recurring to me what you said about your children in school. That the common misconception is that that children learn languages a lot quicker because they've got like a young brain and they're like sponges. But the misconception is that it's not that children learn languages quicker. It's that children are in an immersive state. Where French is only spoken around them for 8 hours a day, 4 days. Is it 4 days a week or 5 days a week?
4 days a week.
4 days a week. So therefore, they learn that much quicker.
I agree. Yeah.
certainly I've found, because I'm out and about working and, having to speak to French people a lot more than Jane, I'm more confident and more, I wouldn't say fluent at all by any means, but certainly more confident in the vocabulary that I've got.
Yeah.
And able to construct a sentence better than Jane because, she doesn't go out as much. Certainly not now. Now we've got Charlie, but
I understand that. You've got to force yourself to get into a circumstance where you're forced to speak French, and you hope it. I suppose where you are, there's a lot more English-speaking people, French and English. Where I am, virtually none. And I actually, world exclusive here. I went for a job interview in French. And what's going on?
Sorry.
Chewing the sofa.
Charlie chewing the sofa.
Incident, yeah. So I went for a job interview and had to conduct it in French.
Okay.
Which is very complicated. And it was very interesting. But my advice to anyone who wants to learn French in our situation is get French friends.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, because I know you've. Is it your next door neighbour?
Well, so it's actually the neighbour, my mum's neighbour. So my mum is really good at French, but she doesn't.
His teeth stuck.
I'll be right back. I'm just going to get a toy for Charlie because he's chewing the sofa. So I'm going to redirect his behaviour.
His jaw's stuck.
Talk to Robbie for a sec.
How do you find the language then, Robbie? Because I know you do Duolingo, don't you?
So I'm purely Duolingo trained. So 924-day streak, apart from GCSE French. Now, I actually did GCSE French and was due to take it at A level.
Right.
Not because I was particularly, I wasn't intended on ever moving to France. I just enjoyed learning like another language. And so because I had that interest, I was due to take it at A level. Now, that's where the arrogance took over then, because my predicted grade was a B and I needed a C and above to take it A level. So I stopped studying French thinking I've got this.
Nice.
And concentrated on the others and got a D. So I couldn't take it at A level.
Oh.
So, but then you fast forward to 2022, 2023, when we moved over, and it's like I've found like a proper purpose now. You're for actually learning it. And so what I found is any English word ending in AL is going to be a French word too, also, like normal, spécial, so on and so forth. And any English word ending in TION will also be a French word too, or the other way around. We've nicked it from the French. So where we'd say expectation, it may be expectation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Curiously, the only exception to that rule is translation.
Yes.
It's traduction.
Yeah.
Traduction?
Yeah.
Traduction. Only because I've had to, apart from of the visa process, I've had to have birth certificates translated into French, which I found absolutely bizarre.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because when you get a birth certificate in England, that's it. It stays like that forever. But in France, it's not quite the same. They do change.
Right.
Information gets added and stuff. So that's why they ask for one that's within 6 months of whatever you're applying for. That's why if it falls beyond that, you have to get another one translated. It's a very strange way of doing things. Yeah, so Duolingo trained.
Yeah, so
It's a product of the modern world, you know.
Product of the modern world, but it's so whereas I might have I have a lot of words, a lot of French words in my head, some of which I would never use, like colocataire. Do you know what a colocataire is? It's a roommate. I don't need to know that. You know, there's only so much stuff I can store in my brain. I don't need colocataire, which is obviously still in there. It won't go now, so it's stopping proper French from getting in. embouteillage. I first learned that from Vanessa Paradis, Jola Taxi, and then it appeared in Duolingo. Traffic jam. I don't need to know that.
But they don't say that. They say bouchon.
See, and again, this word Duolingo like falls down. So I might have a lot of words, and I might know enough words.
Andre Previn, isn't it? All the right words, but not necessarily in the right order.
Exactly like that. So it might make sense to me because I've forced them into an English sentence, but it just won't mean anything in French.
So when I was learning French, I watched.
Hello.
Eddie. listen very carefully. I was saying this only once.
Brilliant. They love that, by the way. The French love it.
I can imagine. Yeah.
So
I was speaking to my French friends, and they said, "Yeah, we love it because it's translated back into French."
So funny.
So it must. The policeman when he was must be hilarious in French.
So
go on.
I watched Eddie Izzard because Eddie Izzard speaks French pretty well, and he did a few shows all in French, so that was good to watch.
Yeah.
And he was talking about when he was learning French and going to Paris, and words like you said that you would never use, like the monkey is on the branch, so le singe est sur la branche. And it is, you would never use that, you know.
No.
And so we was driving to the house in Normandy, and we stopped at a services, and we'd just been talking about Eddie Izzard, about les songes sur la branche, and we walked into the services, and they had a display of stuffed animals. You know,
No.
And there was a monkey.
That's
in
it.
the branch.
I'm in.
There was a monkey. I stopped and I almost shouted out to everybody, "Le songe sur la branche."
Yeah, that would have gone down well.
Brilliant.
Some of the things about the French language. My top tips is stay away from any word that involves hot. Because you can get yourself into all sorts of problems.
It's a world of pain.
So just don't even bother. And the word queue or anything that sounds like queue, don't bother. So if you say that's a long queue for the
queue as in line of people.
Yeah, no, just say it's a line. Don't say queue. Yeah. Queue. The way we pronounce it, it sounds like intimate parts of people.
Okay.
So any word that sounds
like beaucoup.
No, not that. That's okay. But like right. So cul-de-sac in English.
I can see where this is going.
Bottom of the bag.
Cul-de-sac. Not really.
That'd be Latin though, wouldn't it? From English, that cul-de-sac will be Latin, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but the way we say it. The way we would say it, it sounds so rude. Also, if your drink has, when they say you want sparkling or still mineral water,
yeah,
with bubbles or without. In French, it's avec boule, sans boules, and you're so close to their pronunciation of nuts, balls.
Yeah, because. Right.
You just won't get it right. Just say gazeuse, non-gazeuse.
Yeah.
And stay away from Q, say line, and never refer to anything to do with heat or temperature if you don't know what you're doing, because you straight away get into a problem there.
Talk about this room, je suis chaud.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Especially with that t-shirt on.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, because there's a friend of mine she was playing cards, and she said it was in the middle of winter, and said, yeah, I'm cold. And the guy turns around and goes, I feel sorry for your husband. Because it means I'm frigid.
Frigid, yeah.
Oh.
That's
so, yes, you can easily get into another one as well. So, terrible means terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Pas terrible.
Not terrible?
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
means very terrible.
Okay.
Jamais also means never,
Never.
but it also means always or forever.
Of course it does.
course.
Mem is, or le mem is the same.
Same. Le même chose. The
Mem.
same thing.
Mem is also even.
But they don't say that.
Oh, they do on Duolingo.
You don't say this. This is the same as this. You wouldn't say that. You wouldn't say la même for that. You'd say
Right.
pareil. It's parallel. It's pareil.
Okay.
It's parallel. It's the same.
It's really annoying.
Yeah. We've got a fly here trying to get into the French ear trumpet.
French fly.
French flies. Yeah.
On
Come
topic.
over here, taking our jobs,
On topic.
winning at bingo. All right,
So-
Ear trumpet.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Nice. So I guess the language thing, then we've learned it differently. I've learned it from speaking with French people, and so
I actually learned it. Well, I learned the majority of French was from two. Shows you how long ago it was. Two CD packs. One
Let me
was
guess. Michelle Thomas.
is it Michelle Thomas or Thomas Michelle?
Michelle Thomas.
Michelle Thomas and a fellow called Paul Noble, who was fantastic. But I learned that sitting outside Wilton's restaurant on Jermyn Street.
Oh, nice.
The fellow that I used to drive, his favourite restaurant was Wilton's, and he'd be there like 2 or 3 nights a week. And I'd be sitting outside there for hours at a time waiting for him to come out.
So was this before you knew you were going to move to France, or after?
This is in the time that well,
At the holiday.
that's a really good question. So we bought the house up in Normandy with the idea that we was going to retire there at some point, not really knowing exactly when.
So you knew that
Yeah,
was.
so we knew eventually we would come to live in France. So we was just getting ahead, or I was just getting a head start on the French. Yeah, so that's where I learned the majority of my French, from those two resources. Oh, and Rosetta Stone, who's on the PC. Rosetta Stone's got a curious way of teaching it, in that it's all visual cues. There's no English in it at all.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so there's no English in it at all. So everything's done in French, and it's all photographic cues. So if they're talking about someone swimming, you see a picture of someone swimming. If you see jewelry, you see a picture of jewelry, and so on and so forth. The issue comes when there's a more complicated
Phrase, I guess. Yeah.
verbal transaction, if you like.
Mm.
And you look at a picture and you think, well, I'm not really sure what's going on here.
That's a good point.
You have to think about the context of what you're learning.
There's a monkey on a branch.
That would be brilliant.
Not
If
erase that.
the next one was a monkey on a branch. That's it. I'm done.
But yeah, different ways of learning.
So I have a few French subscribers on my channel,
I've noticed that. That's really good.
and
Oh, hold on. You've got one that's not very good, though, isn't there?
who's that one?
The one that says, "Do you want the troll one?" The guy that.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. You know what? I've only ever had 3 nasty comments since starting the channel. One was from a German, one was from English, and one was French. But
Sounds like the start of a joke, doesn't it?
it does, doesn't it? Yeah. But no, that was fine. No, but the ones that I do have are like really, really helpful, because they know that I'm trying to integrate into the French culture. You know that they know that we got kids at French school. You know that we have loyalty cards. That's a big tick. Into getting your French passport, having a loyalty card, and all the briccos.
There you go.
But no, so there's a part of the videos where I do like a slow motion sunglasses thing, and then it flips to normal speed, and then I point to the camera and say "on y va," which means let's go. Now, I've changed that now to "c'est parti," parce que apparently. I'm using "on y va" in the wrong context, according to the French subscriber, saying that I would say that probably in a more informal setting. I would have to read the comment again. I've got to be honest,
Yeah,
because I've read it 3 times.
Because on Evolved, we there go. The
So,
direct translation is
so as if you're going
go
somewhere
there.
specifically. Whereas my argument would be, I'm going somewhere specifically. I'm going to take you to the déchetterie on y va. So, but they're saying no, you would use c'est parti more often than not really on y va.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, what do we know? Really, to be honest.
Yeah. What do we know?
Yeah. So there's all sorts of quality things, little nuances like that it's going to take a lifetime to. I mean,
I suppose the equivalent would be is if the French person would say, "I shall bid you good. I shall bid you goodwill," and we'd say, "Yeah, you really want to say laters."
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's exactly that. That's very interesting.
I think you have to be an 80s throwback to say that now.
So what about integrating then? What else have you found to integrate in? I mean, you've got French clients, haven't you, Colin? Your work?
Yeah. I've got not many, I have to say. All of the work that I've picked up recently has been through recommendation in one area. So, and it's all obviously an expat community that talk to each other. But I have done work for, quite a few French people in the past. And it's been really interesting, the different sort of culture, that I've experienced doing that. So, for example, there was a French couple that moved down from the Paris suburbs to not far from here, about 40 minutes from here, and they had horses, and they wanted an arbor built, which is like a stable, an open-fronted stable.
I think the English equivalent will be a field shelter.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yes.
And
you can tell my ex was big into horses, can't you?
Yeah,
I spent all my time doing that kind of stuff.
Isn't it strange though that I know what it is in French but not in English?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yes.
So anyway, so first day I went there, I was digging the holes to put the 4 big posts in, and got the first couple of posts in, and the fella that I was doing the work for, he said, "Okay, lunchtime." I said, "Okay," and I bought sandwiches and a flask.
Oh, love it.
Sandwiches in a flask, and I said, "Okay," and I was heading towards the car, and he went, "No, you come."
Oh yeah.
So we went, and I followed him, and his wife was of Algerian descent, and she had made an ox cheek tagine.
Nice.
And it was the first time that I tried Pinot de Charente. And she said to me, "Would you like some Pinot?" I said, "I don't know what that is." Je ne sais pas. And she said, "Oh, try." So I tried some, and I thought, "Oh, I like that." And anyway, so I had this fantastic meal, and we sat there laughing and talking and so on. And I had a couple of glasses of wine and a Pinot. And then Jacques, the husband, he went, "Okay, back to work."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't. Obviously, Robbie, with you being retired here, it's not something you probably see, but I know you work with Colin sometimes. But just quickly explain, I work with my brother a lot, and he's a tiler in Wren, and whenever we work there, it gets to 12, just after 12, that's it. Everything stops. Everybody disappears from the site. So these are big building sites. Everybody just goes. And they all go at once, and they all go to a local workman's restaurant. And there's loads of them all over France, obviously. And you can go in and get a meal for about 12 to 13, 14 euros, something like that.
So is it, sorry, Andy, so is it a specific workman's restaurant, or is it like a routier place, or is it
anything like that? And they do them. So you can go to a truck stop, you can go to any restaurant that do a day menu where it's limited choice, maybe 2 or 3 options, but the price is really low, and it's catering for the workmen because the state subsidise it.
Mm.
So they subsidise, I think it's €10, so you pay the rest, so that's €3 on a meal, so you can get a 3-course meal for like €3. It's really good. But, you know, I've been there and I've seen the workmen knocking back, you know, at least half a wine each.
Carafes of wine, yeah.
And then go back to work in the afternoon. Now, for the British, that's like, no way. I'll be asleep by 2-3 o'clock, you know.
As if you haven't stayed with your head to the wall. In the meantime,
but good news. If you do it often enough, you get used to it. Apparently.
Oh, right. Okay. What?
So back in the UK, before I retired, I was a detective inspector within Sussex Police. So I've investigated a multitude of crimes, a lot of which are industrial accidents that have led to corporate manslaughter investigations. Now, so one of the first things that I would like to know within a toxicology report of the deceased is the alcohol level, and also who sanctioned the drinking of that alcohol level, because that person then becomes complicit. So I wonder how that translates to French culture, you know, because these people are operating heavy machinery in the afternoon, and if heaven forbid there was an accident, how that then fits it into legislation and health and safety.
Well,
to coin a cultural stereotype.
Yeah, they don't have the same setup. Like, for example, when my dad died, we said, look, this is going to be a post-mortem. We said, no, nobody gets a post-mortem unless it's a criminal offence. So in the UK, nearly everyone gets one. But here they don't get one at all. So that was strange, and you have to be buried within 6 days of passing away. So that's weird as well, unless it's a criminal investigation. But the police officers, including the motorcyclists, went on strike because they removed their alcohol at lunchtimes, and then they reinstated it again after the strike. So it'd be hard to argue, I think, that you can't have a glass of wine or whatever at lunchtime if the police are allowed to have it. So there must be an acceptable level, I think.
There's a part in I can't remember his name, Peter. A year in Charente. No, a year in Provence, wasn't it? Peter. There'll be people shouting at the screen now. But
what do we know what you're talking about?
Yeah. So in the book, A Year in Provence, the chap goes to the local function, you know, at the Salafate with the mayor, and everybody's there, and they're all having a drink. And the mayor says to this guy, you know, have another drink. He says, oh no, I've got to drive home.
Yeah.
I've got to drive home. And he says, oh no, don't worry. He says, don't worry. He says, yeah, but what if I get stopped by the gendarmes? And the mayor says, don't worry, the gendarmes are all here.
Yeah. It's drink driving is a big thing actually here. Massive thing. I've seen it so many times. Just quite commonplace, to be honest.
I find that as a motorcyclist, Andy, I don't know whether you found it or whether it's just me with an unconscious bias, is that I am more wary riding my motorcycle after 2 o'clock in the afternoon than what I am before midday. Because I would say that people's standard of driving, some people's standard of driving in France, I'm not just saying it's French, could be English, could be Argentinian, I don't care. It's just that the standard of driving past 2 o'clock, maybe because of the lunchtime drinking culture, is questionable at best.
Peter Mayle, that's who it was. He wrote that book, Peter Mayle, A Year in Provence.
It was actually made into a film.
It was, yeah.
With, who was in it?
It wasn't the one with Russell Crowe, was it?
It was, yeah.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
Well done, see?
Yeah. See?
Got to get up early in the morning to catch you out, haven't you?
He said I got help, so I don't know, I forgot.
What's your name?
Right, interesting. Yeah. So, so to do with integrating, then we come from a different angle. I've just recently gone for a job interview, which is strange because My qualifications in what I do were no longer valid after Brexit.
Oh, wow.
So
Did you know that, Andy?
Well, I did, yes, and I knew it when up and coming to the vote. In 2016, I knew that it wouldn't be valid afterwards.
Right.
And you know, in fact, all of my friends voted for Brexit, which is very strange, but that's the way it goes. Anyway, so getting back to the job interview, I had to form my appeal, you know, what I could do for them on a different level other than what my qualifications were. So I had to formulate a CV in French. Now, I tried to use ChatGPT, but it was completely useless. So I actually got somebody else's CV in French that was just online, and then adapted it to what I could do. And then as an appendix, I put photos and descriptions of stuff I've done in the past. Unfortunately,
plagiarism, Andy. Are you admitting to plagiarism?
No, just using it for the format of how it was laid out, because it's not, the CVs in French are not laid out the same as the British CVs. So you've really got to pay attention, and the qualification equivalents, you've got to see what they are. So GCSEs or O levels or whatever you've got, they're not the same. And I've got further educational qualifications and stuff, and you have to really look to find out what the qualification would be in French. Anyway, so it all comes down to the interview, really. And yeah, that is super tricky, because it's not like a British interview. So I went, it's an interview to be technician superior for designing and installing solar panel systems, inverters, electronics, that kind of stuff. So you have to know all the technical terms. You have to know all the technical words, which is complicated. When I went for the interview, the guy was super nice, and he invited me into the office, and he said, "This is where our office is. We're moving to a new site, all this." And he pointed in the corner, and there was a commercial beer chiller and beer pump in the corner. And he goes, "Would you like a beer? This is for a job interview."
Yeah.
I was like, you know, I'm not going to say no, because that might be
trick question.
But it was also 30 odd degrees in there, because it's on the top floor of his workshop. So I was absolutely sweating because it was so hot, and I'm in an interview and I've got a beer in front of me. Oh my God.
You in a shirt and tie and everything?
No, I didn't, because apparently that's not what you do.
Right.
So
who gave you the advice that that's not what you do?
Well, fortunately,
because you'd only find out afterwards.
yeah, no, you can't look like just t-shirt and shorts and all that business, but you don't. For the type, you have to be dressed for the type of job that you're going to do. So if I was going to an office job or working in front of a computer all day, then yeah, maybe, but I wasn't. So it was very interesting, and the guy offered me the job, and hopefully I'll start in September. But it's really complicated, because he had a really strong accent. Nobody speaks English, and they're talking about technical terms. So that was really difficult. But most British people learn to speak bricolage before they can speak French.
Yeah, it's true. That's funny. Yeah, it's true. Speak bricolage.
I don't know.
Don't worry, I'll speak bricolage.
Have you found that you know the terms for wires, cables, pipes, and stuff, whatever you want. You learn those terms before the social stuff.
Most people. I've got a book actually that's got all the. It's like a French, English, English, French for building terms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah.
Isolation.
Yeah, insulation.
How about agrafus?
No.
I had to learn that because Lee said, "Babe, I need a staple gun." I thought, right, I've already run out of French, so I had to get the Google Translate out. I couldn't find a staple gun, so I went into the Brico and I went, "Oh, here we go again." Excusez-moi, je n'ai pas compris le français. Vendez-vous les agrafus? Je ne sais pas.
No.
I went, oh, there we go. Agrafus? No. I went, right, I'm going to have to go full lower here.
Yeah.
Went, agrafus? And she went, where? Là-bas. And but the accent, it's got to be spot on. You can't be close. You can't be close. It's
Full Inspector Clouseau.
So I know what you're saying now, but agraphus, that's like a more commercial grade stapler.
Yeah, that's what we needed. Yeah.
Agraphus is just a normal one.
Yeah.
So like I learned that because I go to the building merchant and they have a ticket and then you have your invoice. I say, avez-vous un graphus? And they'll normally staple the ticket to your
Okay.
invoice. Yeah.
Okay.
So Andy, your quick question.
Yeah.
I think it would benefit the listeners to know in terms of context. So your brother, I think you said on a previous episode of French Ear Trumpet, is you're fluent in French. So if you would say that, he's a 10 out of 10 French, where would you say that you are?
5.
Okay. Yeah.
That makes me a 1 then.
That makes me half.
I'd say a 5. I'm at the point where I don't fear going into any conversation or any situation. But if I'm sat around a table and it's completely social, I'll probably understand 70% of what's being said. Because social situations are way harder than normal situations. So if you walk into a place, and it doesn't matter what it is, if it's a restaurant or a supermarket or a shop, you know the context straight away.
Yeah. It's situational, isn't it?
Yeah.
I used to drive this fella, right, and I'll just call him Peter. Right.
Is that his name?
Yeah, that is his name, but I'll just call him Peter. And he was a Swiss German, and we used to call him Lemon Twist.
From Beverly Hills Cop.
From Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to call him Lemon Twist. And he's an interesting fella, and he spoke, I think it was 7 languages, and he was just learning Cantonese.
Nice.
And he would sit in the back. He was his own biggest fan. And he'd sit in the back of the car, and he would take calls, one in German, he'd speak away in German, and then take another call, speaking French, take another call, Dutch, another call, dodgy Cantonese.
I already don't like him.
Yeah. Actually, it was a lovely. It was funny, but he didn't know he was funny.
Right.
And I said to him one day, "Do you actually think in those languages?" Because at the time I was learning French, and so listening to French, I would have to translate it in my head.
Yeah.
Right.
So a question would be asked in French. I'd have to translate it into English, think of a response in English, then translate the response in English, then speak it. By which time the conversation's moved on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you're always struggling. So I think the key is, which I've just started doing, because I always listen to the radio when I'm out driving, going to various jobs. I was listening to Charente FM, and I'm just starting to not think in English. I'm just starting to actually listen to it without translating it.
I agree, and I do that a lot. Like if I'm doing a job and I think, right, I need whatever, hammer or screwdriver, or whatever. I think I need a hammer or screwdriver in French. It kind of helps. But what I remember watching one of Robbie's videos, and you did a parents' evening.
Yes.
With the school. How did that go, and how did you find that?
That was so. His teacher, fortunately, can't speak much English anyway, so she speaks less English than what we do French, if that's possible. And so, so she did start teaching Robbie with the aid of Google Translate, because there's no teaching lesson in university to how to teach somebody in a different language. You've got your teaching skills, you've got your lesson plan, and now you've got somebody who doesn't speak a language. You're gonna have to navigate yourself around that. And so that's what she did. Now she says that she stopped doing it. She stopped speaking in French. She stopped speaking in English completely with Robbie now. So she'll only ever speak to him in French, which is like forced Robbie to pay a bit more attention. It's just little things like, so she's talking to me and I'm getting what she's saying, until the point that she says about he needs a chemise. I went,
Shirt.
yeah, that's what I went. A chemise? She went, where? I went, c'est ça? She went, and she laughed. She went, no.
An apron.
It's a chemise is like a notebook.
Oh.
So it's not just a shirt.
Yeah.
No.
It's now, I believe it's a notebook or a compass. I don't know. It's it's an old school property, but it's but yeah, it's strange how things have double meanings. But I'm pretty sure we've got the same in the English language too. But yeah.
How are you on the phone?
I'm appalling.
Yeah. So our GP, in order to make a rendezvous, an appointment to actually, I'll tell you something funny. When we first came to France, I was convinced that to make an appointment, I would have to ask for an appointment because it sounded French.
Appointment.
Appointment because it ends in E and T. So I just thought it was it.
I like it.
Yeah. So all of the receptionists and like the vet places where I would try and make an appointment, just did it for me. And it was only at the vet when I asked, "Is it say appointment?" No. Rendezvous. Rendezvous. Okay. So for about 6 months, I thought it was appointment, up to the point when I was told no, it's rendezvous.
Well, we all make mistakes like that, and that bad news for you. It's not the last time you're going to do that either.
Yeah.
No.
So so when I found a GP to make an appointment, there's a nice lady that I speak to, answers the phone for the GP, and she speaks no English at all. And I think she must be used to stupid English people phoning her and asking her to repeat the rendezvous at least 5 times just to make sure I've got it right, because twice now we've been sitting outside the doctor's and he's not there because I've got the appointment wrong. Appointment wrong. So so I'm really careful when I when I phone up to make a rendezvous, and I have to ask the nice lady to repeat it 5 or 6 times, which she does in all good faith. So just going back to one thing that you said earlier that stuck in my head. You said about chat GP. Is it chat GP? GPT?
GPT.
Yeah, chat GPT.
That's better.
Yeah. So
Dark.
what you said about chat GPT. We've talked before about the threat to humanity from AI.
We're going to do an episode on this.
Yeah, so we have talked before about the threat to humanity about AI, but AI is struggling to do a French CV.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be all right for a while.
I think so. Yeah, so we're talking on the phone. Nightmare. Absolute nightmare. How's Lisa getting on with French?
Yeah, I think Lisa struggles with French. I think when she went, she's going to kill me for saying this. She went for,
there's only 200 subscribers.
Yeah, when she was discussing her options in year 3 to do 4 and 5, 4th and 5th year, I think her French teacher said to her dad, "I don't think she should ever do language." It's just and being there might be a bit of a cultural divide issue going on here, so I hope you don't take offence.
Go on.
But I've heard that it is easier for people from the north of England to be able to adapt with the pronunciation of French words than it is with people from the south of England. Most plainly for the fact that you lot don't pronounce your T's.
That's true. Actually, funny you should say that. Our French teacher that we had up in Normandy, Stefan, because we talked to him and he'd say, we talked to him and he'd say, "It is very difficult for me to understand you because if you say the word but, you only use 2 letters." But.
Pot Colin, did you say?
Yeah. So
That's really interesting.
yeah.
Really, really interesting. And I probably agree with that, actually. In fact, when I moved down from North Yorkshire to London, I couldn't understand a word they were saying.
Come down here, taking their jobs.
Exactly.
Bingo.
Winning a bingo. All right, guys.
I guess. Yeah, when I had to really tame down my accent when you first met Lisa, because she's stone cold Southern and I'm from the Northwest. You know, so our first
Lancashire.
few dates was pardon? Huh? What are you saying?
So you're from Lancashire, are you?
No, so I was born Liverpool and raised in Runcorn and Warrington. So I've got a mixture of accents.
We can keep talking.
But,
I'm from Yorkshire.
it's
Anyway.
Yeah, we're going to go off on a tangent here.
We'd never do that.
No, never do that. So what I found with down south, completely different to up north, is that especially in the Northwest, you could have an accent in one part of the town and then cross a street, and the other half of the town will have a completely different accent. It'll be stronger. And they say, yes, a case in point. Yeah, you could have a Scouse accent in Runcorn, and then you go over the bridge to Widnes, and you'd have a Lancashire accent. You know, so it'd be like, I don't know how.
Well, that's curious because I think it was 2010. We went right across America. We went from the west coast to the east coast, from Oceanside of California to Annapolis in Maryland, and the accent didn't change a vast amount. But if you go north or south, the accent changes vastly, and that's sort of magnified in the UK. You only got to go 90 miles from London, and you're into Birmingham, and it's what I can't.
Yeah, Leicester's even got a northern accent.
I can't understand what you're saying.
Oh, hold on. You're a Londoner. You don't go north of Watford Gap. That's it. You're done.
If I
Dragons up there. You don't want to go anywhere north.
It's the North Wall. It's the North Wall.
Winter's coming.
Yeah, I mean, some of the northern accents are in England really hard to understand, and then obviously you get to Scotland, and then you got no chance. Right. Hi, Gary. So
he's not really Scottish.
No, is it just pretend?
I didn't say that. Yeah. So but the accents are the same in French as well. So I'm in Brittany, and they speak with a completely different accent if I went down south, or if I went to the east, it's more German.
So does that mean that because of where you are, and you know, certainly as time goes forward, and you're working in that environment, does that mean that you'll learn French with a Brittany accent?
Yeah, and dialect as well. So
yeah, that's what I meant, dialect. Yeah. What's the difference between accent and dialect?
No, probably you're right. Probably accent as well.
The words that you use.
Dialect,
So
away man will be like Geordie, so that'd be dialect.
Yeah.
Whereas Scouse will say, "Right there now, lad."
Okay, I don't know what you said, but okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What, son?
Shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth. Hope you wouldn't account, sir.
How long for them sausages?
Yes. So
5 minutes, Turkish.
Dags.
Do you like that? That's a completely different thing.
Sorry.
Yeah. So one of the first things I said was, I understood was cascotte. So he got to lunchtime, and the guy said, "Are you going for a cascotte?"
C'est quoi?
And that's the equivalent of nose bag in English.
Okay.
Which is like a slang term for your lunch, really, workman's lunch. Cascotte. But you won't find that in the French dictionaries. So
or Duolingo.
Yeah, no, it won't be in Duolingo now.
Probably
so
won't
normally
be
it's
Thomas
repa.
or Michelle Thomas, won't it?
Normally it's repa, which is lunch.
Which is a meal, repa meal, yeah.
Or Dej.
Don't know about that one.
Short for déjeuner. Dej.
Normally déjeuner is the main meal of the day, but
okay.
I don't know. Oh, it's complicated.
So,
c'est très difficile.
As time is getting on,
yes.
Would any of you go back? That's the main question. Honestly, would you go back? Now, I'll give you a bit of background to this. So my dad moved. he worked all his life in England, and then he decided he wanted to retire in France. He retired to France and then lived here until he passed away. But in the ending of his life, I said to him, if you could have got the property and the life that you have here back in England, would you have moved to France? And he said no. So there's something that France offers that you can't get in England, which is probably property prices, the type of property, but also the life or the lifestyle, which he probably meant was it's quiet, you can do what you want, and the services are good. If you could get the same as you've got here back in England, would you go back?
So this
I know
all
it's
of
a
what you just
complicated question.
all of what you just mentioned comes back to the fact that France has had a revolution, in my opinion.
Okay.
The reason I said that is because the power has been devolved down to the people,
Yeah.
which hasn't happened in the UK, which means that people have a civic pride. The majority of people have a civic pride, which means that they look after the place where they live, and they're proud of where they live, and you know, people are happy to live here. The majority of people are happy to live here, which rubs off on, you know, expats in a way that would not happen in the UK. I don't think in many places.
I think you're right.
It was funny because Lisa out of the blue turned around the other day and said, right, if you picked our house up and our land and our view and put it back into the UK, which would probably be the Cotswolds, I would say, from where we
or Surrey, looking over the Surrey Downs.
Yeah.
Oh my God, your house would be
Millions.
2.5 million.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Easily 2.5, 3 million maybe.
Silly money. But she said no.
Really?
Yeah, she said no chance. And you would think that with me having served in the military and the police, I'll be more patriotic. I think I can really see the qualities of living in France. I think I really struggled when I came over. I'm thinking, right, everyone's shut on a Sunday. It's like 1980s England. And sometimes that bleeds into a Monday and then even a Tuesday. All the schools are off on a Wednesday. They've got 2-hour lunch breaks and we can't do any outside work. I thought, is France not interested in growing the economy? And it really annoyed me.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. And it's because family come first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, so, and I think that's really important. I think that's where we back in England, we're all about, right, you're the BMW, the Mercedes, you're the Louis Vuitton shoes, the Christian Louboutin shoes.
That probably comes from the 80s of Thatcher's Britain, doesn't it? Of you know, loads of money.
No, yeah.
So
not interested in that anymore.
No.
You know, so there's no competition over here. I can't sit down to the pub and go to Colin. I've got 2 acres of land. You go, so what? Yeah, so have I. I've got a little bit more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know what?
I've got a workshop. So have I.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot more.
I've cuddle puddle.
It's a lot more egalitarian in that, like people are not looked at what they've got; they're looked at the type of person they are, and I think that's quite important. So yeah, I kind of get all that, and I'd agree with you over my dad. I think I wouldn't go back either, not now.
No.
I just don't. It's a different life, different way of living, different way of being. And I think you're right, Colin. It's by the people, for the people.
Yes.
And you can count on everyone to help you out, even if they don't really know you.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, when we relatively recently, I had an issue with me. It's a first world problem here. I had an issue with me ride-on mower.
Oh.
And so the chap and his wife opposite, lovely people, a French couple, saw me taking it off in in my trailer and coming back without it. And he came over and knocked on the door and said, would you like to use my ride-on?
Oh,
And I said, yeah, that'd be great, thank you. Anyway, so about half an hour later, he came back and knocked on the door. He said, I've got it here. You can have it now if you want. I said, oh, okay, I'll have it now. But yeah, just
you
community.
siphon all the petrol out of it as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Took the blades off some with your blunt ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm from Dagenham. What do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say.
When he came back, he said, finish with my mower. I said, what mower?
just a frame on the front. everything else is on eBay.
Yeah.
Le Bon Coin.
Le Bon Coin. Oh dear, brilliant.
Right, I think we're all
time's whizzed by, isn't it?
I know. I think we're all very happy with the decision we made to come over here. All three different backgrounds, I guess.
Yes.
Different ages, different situations. I know Robbie's had a little bit harder time with the visa and all that kind of stuff, but that's just Brexit, really. But for more information on that, go and look at Robbie's channel.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's
Go
fantastic.
to France,
Really helpful.
Description.
So yeah, I guess that'll probably do us for this evening because so about an hour now, so that's quite good.
Brilliant. So thank you so much for watching, and if you're still here, well done.
Yeah,
you got this far. Well done.
And if you'd like to give the video a thumbs up, that'd be great. And lovely. And press the notification bell so that you know when there's new content. And maybe think about subscribing if you're not subscribed already. That'd be great. And all that leaves to say is it's goodbye from us. It's goodbye from them.
Goodbye from them.
Cock that up.
Staying in.
They're staying in.
Absolutely.
See you later.
Laters.
Laters.